Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing this interesting list from Mythic Mike. It's kind of a combination, just from the outside looking in, of the deck that he's kind of known for, being that Orzhov kind of skeleton deck that he was kind of really popular for a while. But he cut the white to splash in probably a better game plan. Let's just be honest, the better backup game plan is definitely a Badgermole Cub and an Ouroboros, so we do kind of collapse into playing super meta cards, but there's a lot of off meta in this deck that still has that Mythic Mike flair to it, being like the Quadrix Charm and the Applied Geometry. This card is actually really cool. This is definitely more of like a flavor card in a commander deck to me, where like, do I think the most competitive best of 3 decks are ever going to play this card? No, but I would also have maybe had that idea about the loot in the past, and then you just kind of see the meta slow down a little bit when mono red isn't that alpha dog that it used to be, and is a bit slower than kind of a mono red or Boros kind of burn deck would be. So a card like this can shine in the right list, and this making a copy of Ouroboros that starts at 6 is really cool. But I have found the most success, at least in today's video, by copying a Corpse of the Lost pretty often, by making an extra creature, and because there's now 2 Corpse of the Lost in play, that's a +2 across the board, and then it also just makes another creature for later turns, or copying like Deep Cavern Bat, even though that's a bit fragile in the Is It meta, where if they just bounce that, you kind of lose your value card there. I have one thing to say before we dive in. This intro is already longer than what I would like it to be. I had one of the craziest statistical kind of sessions I've had in a very long time. I will show you. I played 22 lands. I want you to keep that in mind, that in most cases, my land draw chance fits anywhere between 27 to 33% at best. So that's a 1 in 3 chance to draw a land. And with that information, you will get to go into this video understanding why one game I had 12 lands, it felt like. I don't know. I don't make the rules. I didn't draw the cards. Arena gave them to me, and I just had to accept it as is. And I might be taking Mythic Mike to court about it, because that was absurd. That was insane. He put a Hex on the deck, and it made it backfire on me, and it was crazy. But let's dive in and see how this awesome deck does. See, this feels fine, I think. At least it seems fine. Little part of me wants to go Deep Cavern Bat into Cub so I can hold up Counterspell, but I guess we'll just see. I do want to play one of these shock lands tapped for now, at least. There's likelihood of drawing another one. I guess maybe Fast Mana's in here. Oh, maybe one of the problems of not building my own deck. Yeah, see here, I think Deep Cavern Bat might be a little more important as of for right now, anyway. This is the amount of value it can make and things like that. Boomerang basics are sure gonna make a lot of 1/1s, but is that they have no mana. They kept a really greedy hand. A 1-lander. See if it pays off on this card draw. I don't care if they use the boomerang basics and find another land. It's like when they just rip one there, even though analytics would probably say it would hit, and it does. This is what it is, though, of course. So this is going to be like a slight problem. We can grow our bat to a 5/5, so I'm not that worried about it. Go Badgermole Cub here into this, and because I think my opponent's really likely to plot a slick shot, at least it feels like they would be, I think I just want to go another Deep Cavern Bat and kind of weigh in on this kind of situation here. Sleight of Hand, Storm Chasers, Flow State. They could miss this. If they use this now, it'd be bad value. They could play this, but they don't have a red, so I just take Sleight of Hand. And I don't typically try to go the way of screwing my opponent over on their mana, but I think here, when it's just going to be tough and they're going to have to use a worse version of Flow State, potentially, even though Sleight of Hand, I guess, doesn't do it. They go another talent, which is fine. That's the best part about... Oh, another talent. That's the best part about these Deep Cavern Bats, right? Is they kind of mitigate this damage. Yeah, I'm kind of fine with this. We're going to end up back at 13. I'll be holding up kind of counterspell for the rest of this game. If I keep drawing lands in my low land count deck, I will be a little sad. Although, if they don't end up answering this, Badgermole Cub... Maybe Badgermole Cub will end up blocking here because the mana doesn't seem like it's going to be all that relevant here. But if they're not careful, this right here is going to turn one of my creatures into a 5/5, and then we're just going to be able to crack them. Let's counter this. It feels too good to counter. Like, too good not to. I'm taking one, weed all that. This is where I think maybe, like, we could just go ahead and chump block here. And take out some of this nonsense. And just get our land back. And really rely on these deep cavern bats. Oh, boy. Well, let's, do this, I guess. A lot of life to gain. Slick shot doesn't matter as much as this flow state anymore. Now I have a 6/6 life linker in the air against the Izzet deck. Obviously they can answer my far left bat, the one with the basics. They can then bounce this. And that would kind of suck because then we wouldn't get any value here. They plot and maybe pass. Dude, these land draws are incredible. I just need that to be known. Just in case. Good thing I'm an aggro deck. Like, I know we want to hit lands, but this seems aggressive. Like, we're playing starting towns here. Use of otters, sure. No. Bruh. Like... Do this one. It's actually absurd. If I win, it's really because I kept a greedy one-lander. And kind of got, like, weirdly staggered punished for it. Putting back makes no sense here. Unless you're, like, sure about a Badgermole Cub or like, Badgermole Cub nonsense. I have drawn every overgrown tomb. What is happening? Like, actually? I don't know what they have. I'm going in. Okay. It still doesn't end up working. Down the 4. Play the other overgrown tomb. This is also the part where our opponent is probably going to start hitting things like lands. At least you would think. We're like winning, which is crazy. And now it's all going to fall apart. All right. And now it falls apart. I can't believe that this is the way this is going to happen. You know what I mean? Just absolutely absurd game from Arena. And we just somehow end up losing, which is absurd to me. Don't worry, they now hit a land. Honestly, you might as well just answer my last deep cavern bat at this point. And just like that, a big turn is 15. And I have more mana in play easier than if I was just playing control. I have a lot of outs. That's an out. I know, like, I'm complaining, but I feel like it's justified. Not always is it justified, but it's just, it's a compounding frustration, right? Because it's just like, we're right there winning, and we're so close to winning the whole time, and then it just slowly, like, here's a land, here's a land, here's a land, here's a land, and then you're just like, am I really gonna lose the game this way? Like, this is such a Magic the Gathering way to lose, you know? but we'll take it, I guess. All right, our opponent's finally back. They hit the timer. They decided, yeah, well, here we go. Okay. Probably gonna flash this in. Stop the higher claw. Dude, if I just draw a lance for the rest of the game again, I will tweak. Just every land draw now is just gonna be brutal. All right, well, we're gonna do something a little weird here. Oh, don't worry about it. Fine. The sneak attack. This is fine. I know this seems awkward to do it this way, but without like a guaranteed like Ouroboros in my hand, I just don't feel like I can really commit outside of that. Big one. More mana dorks, more mana in hand. Just need like a spell that matters. Oh no. This is where Ouroboros can take over. Another mana dork. The god tier play. Okay, can I draw anything? Can I draw a thing? Like, obviously, a little part of me wants to block, but I think we just run into that situation where if I do rip Ouroboros, this is a good spot to get my entire board up. Right. And one mana is not going to be enough. It looks like they're going to commit a bit. Maybe burst lightning something. Yeah. They would have answered my whole board. All right, I'm not doing that. I can't, bro. I just can't only draw mana dorks and mana. Like, Arena, if you need me to lose that bad, just don't let me queue. I don't understand. Okay, this is a hand that you would see a lot more. I feel like there are cards that that I've barely seen thus far. So obviously, we're pretty pumped about this hand. Go here. We'll see. Probably blue-red. No, it's Sultai Reanimator. Right? Yeah. Ooh. Interesting. I don't even think I want to let them have value here. If they trade, it's like... Oh, they don't trade? Might actually be worse. Do it go Ouroboros? I guess so, right? Well... Okay. There's the bringer, so they can now discard it here. That explains why they didn't discard it. So I weirdly have to hold up counterspell. So we can play here. And of course, like, for us... To some extent, it's better to be aggressive, but I think we're setting up, like, play this, pump it, make our board massive, right? Mass, I suppose. This is the hard part against this deck, is they're able to put, like, weird, goofy stuff in front of us. Bounce. Okay. Sure. Uh-huh. If you just start attacking, you're not winning that fight. It's not a fight that you want. Free Terror of the Peaks is kind of absurd, if you ask me. Here. A part of me again wants to go here, but I feel like it's just wrong. I think we're setting up to literally one-shot our opponent for the most part. The problem is I just don't have anything I can get through this board with. If they also lead into cavern, then like they get me, I guess. Yeah. So you got, maybe they just don't have one, but I don't really want to. Oh, well, that'll help me feel a bit better. And then if they rip it off the top, they rip it off the top, right? Like that's, sometimes you just have to take a gamble. I'll take that. If they rip it off the top, they have enough mana to pay for it anyway, so we have to go aggressive here. I think I literally just have to start turning sideways. I cannot give them more than like one turn here. And again, if they rip it off the top, they rip it. The other thing is another one of these doesn't get it done either. They really did rip it, huh? You can't make these games up, bro. Genuinely, I don't think a scriptwriter could make them this obviously rigged, bro. Like, it's literally just the script was written for me to lose tonight. It's insane. Okay. This hand was developed by a freak, so we're definitely gonna keep. Maybe we can get like a real active blowout win here and not just flood or watch my opponent rip the exact card they need off the top after playing 3 Terror of the Peaks in a deck that does definitely not need 3 Terror of the Peaks. Here. I mean, we're in. A little part of me wonders, like, landfall though, right? Like I'm just supposed to play Ouroboros and call it a day, right? Like, how bad on the play does it get on turn 3 for me? That something like this plus holding up a counter spell maybe after Deep Cavern Bat, like I can't get away with, right? I could argue maybe it's supposed to be Deep Cavern Bat and a Charm. But yeah, see, even with the ooze, I feel like I'm losing my mind if I just don't play Ouroboros right here. Best card in the game, almost, for a reason. It could make, like, grow this and fight this somehow. I could do it. Well, it won't be big enough, right? Well, that tells me Scooz is probably getting sacrificed here. Funnily enough. Let's play Deep Cavern Bat. A very hard card for them to deal with. Especially when it's going to grow to 3 here. Doesn't matter. Kind of doesn't matter. I don't think any of this matters outside of, like, we counter. So we just take the only card we can't counter, or like don't want to really play around. Pay 2, hold this up, go to combat. 4-6. Everything's in at this point. If they don't block correctly, we could also just win. We have to weirdly do math, which is easy. It's 5 plus 3. They don't block. So what? That's 10, 14. Okay. I don't even have to do anything. Wow, Mike. When Arena says I don't have to lose, the deck might be good, bud. I don't get it, man. I just don't. I get the luxury of going first again. Wild. And my opponent mulliganed. Holy. The pure uncurated content. Get in there, buddy. It's kind of always lead off with like Deep Cavern Bat, right? Although like the mana gets exponentially higher here, but I do think like Bat's probably just generically better. I'm gonna opt here. Could have been Spell Snare. Dude, again, opponents keeping one landers against me. This has to stop. This is jail time, dude. Like, does kind of something. I'll force him to use one, I guess. I mean, to be fair, with 2 ops, you kind of like... What? They were on the draw. On the draw, so they get 3, 4, 5, 6 looks. Hey, nice land, buddy. Nuts. I didn't want to play Battle Cub anyway. Oh, and they hit another land. I just think I take like all their basics. I didn't want to play the Cub anyway. Actually, I really didn't. Why would I want to play the Cub? Why would I want more mana? Why would I want to get punished by not ripping the Cub out and draw the Ouroboros here? Why? Why wouldn't I want to do that? You know? You tell me. No. Okay, fair enough. Pretty good card, to be honest. So this will make my thing make a green anyway. We're holding up a sneaky beaky spell. They're gonna cast their 3rd op. 4th opt. Wait a second. Pause. Did they break the shuffler like genuinely at some point here? I do think it's kind of wild that we've seen 4 ops. I saw all 4 of my overgrown tombs, just drawing them naturally. I don't know. That just seems wild to me. Are you realizing if it's worth attacking anymore or not? Play Storm Chase down, which means you probably could attack here. With the vulnerability that kind of comes with making this, I don't know. Like, a little part of me thinks if I have 2 boomerang basics, if I make a copy of the bat and it all falls apart, but they only have an op to find it plus a draw. So, I'm in. Give me that. And I'm just down to try to generate, like, I think it has to be an all-out attack here, right? Yeah, because we want to, worst case scenario, if our stuff gets answered, we're fine. Like, obviously, Battle Cup is good, but it still clears the way, right? Play. I guess Burst Lightning's an out too, right? Man, I might need to stop copying the Deep Cavern Bat. Maybe that's a play I'm learning. Remove Boomerang, bounce to 6, and then just hope it's enough. I don't know. We're setting ourselves up that a lot of draws are good. I mean, again, we want to go as wide as possible here. That's the whole point of us attacking out last turn. Should be enough anyway, right? So, yeah. If all these did 1 damage and they have 2 blockers at 3, it gets it regardless. So we take it. Very cool. I like can't make this stuff up, dude. I just keep opening with 4 landers. Like if I'm playing 27 land control, I can't do this. That's what's absurd to me, honestly, more than anything. Are we in roots? That didn't really help me any. That land weirdly lets me disguise this a bit, even though I would still prefer to like do anything else. This is a hard cast? Yeah, no way, buddy. Yeah, right. I don't know who you woke up thinking I was today. No better triumph, sir. I know you play him. At least I would assume you play him. Ooh, are we going? 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay. Well, update. Update. My board got bigger. They have to stop, bro. Like, I can't. I played these games before. Oh, I can't. Am I just dead? They have this, so I'm super dead, dude. It just doesn't matter. I can't, bro. Like, look at what my opponent's doing, and look what I'm doing. I'm just drawing lands, man. Oh my god. Dude, this has to be the most 4 land hands I've ever opened with in my entire life. Someone tell me to take a break before I pop a blood vessel, but like, I'm in. I'm in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm into this. I don't... What do you mean by that? Slow pause? Bro. I'm telling you, dog. You guys might see me launch a new account. Like, this is just... like, what did I do? Like, who did I hurt? How did I hurt them? And when did I hurt them? This is not like these lands. However, I finally get to do the one thing in the list that I thought was really, really sick. This to this, maybe. Well, this doesn't really want to attack anyway. Do you think I just want to play the other corpse though? Because they both trade as well, right? I play this tapped, go corpse here. Say, here's 8. Like, you almost feel like they have to block here. I'd be surprised if they don't. Like, these are just so good if you just run into multiple more skeletons. Wait. Somebody told me I might be able to perform. Then this one will sneak through weirdly. So this one can actually attack now. I was like, okay, I can't freak out about a land draw now. At some point the bit's done, you know? Even though it's not done. Like, I'll lose my mind. Now this obviously has to block. And it's like not even close. 7. All right. Nice. Dude, nice. All right. Now we're cooking. If they don't answer this, they're big trouble. Big trouble indeed. I think. Personally. Personally, I think big trouble. Battle Mole Cub and stuff could maybe even this out a bit, but we're gonna go Ouroboros here. Oh, the mirror! Nice! Do I win strictly because I'm on the play? It is really funny. Objectively, it's really funny. Here's 4. Look how fast our life is being depleted. This is crazy. Now, I will say a little part of me wants to copy the corpse because I do think like the widespreadness of the board helps a lot. But let's be honest. My opponent's holding a counter spell. That's not great. I'm not dead, so we'll keep. Ooh. I don't know unless they have a bounce. How do they beat this, right? Block. It should just be enough. Go here. I know I really wanted to copy the orb. I really wanted to copy Ouroboros, but I'm not going to be able to. That's what I wanted to say. Here we go. Especially if I get to this part. There's a Drowner, but I don't think Drowner is enough. Yeah, there's no way. Good game. Block, and then this is way overkill. I just didn't know what they could have. I'm not familiar enough, even though I've played a lot of games, but a lot of my games have been drawing lands and having a good time. You know what I'm saying? But with that, we'll take that. We'll take that for sure. We do this. We go here. We go here. We try to play our corpse right away. Maybe I'm supposed to gamble and just, I don't know, after the lands I've been drawing, just ignore it. You know what I mean? Go with the corpse. Attack, see if they trade. They don't. Interesting. No white mana. So I was like, maybe they have like a shelter or something. That'd make a bit more sense here. At least to me, off the top of my head. Best draw, I think we all can agree, is like an Ouroboros. It allows us to outpace this. I feel like if you didn't block before, you're probably not blocking now, right? Or we'll draw another land. Like, this is the thing. Like, how did I have a 1-land opener? You know what I mean? When this is like the alternative to this situation. This is just not my day to play this game. The thing is, like, I feel like I've won a lot in comparison to like what it feels like that's happening to me, which is crazy. All I feel like I've done today is like complain, which is not ideal, right? But also like I almost want to bet I'm gonna rip a land here. Watch, here comes breeding pool off the top. You ready? If it's a breeding pool, I'm just closing the game. And the video ends right here. I just want you to know. If it's a breeding pool off the top, the game is done. It's gone. You're so lucky, dude. It's just, you're actually so lucky. I honestly wanted it to be. The lethal swing. They do have to figure something out. A double block, so we thin out the match here. Wasn't really enough to like swing my 1/1, I think, but 5 mana. What do they got? They can double level here and make a thing huge, but then that leads them to like block again. I don't know. Oh, sure. One more skeleton, I think, does it, right? I think one more skeleton does it. I mean, that kind of does it too, right? Because then they have to... I mean, it's definitely an all-out attack here, right? Well, because they lose one creature regardless. Yeah, they lose one creature regardless. Which means, like, their attack is less good. Down to 2. Which one is this? I declined that. What's the math here? They do this, and then whenever one or more counters would be put on a permanent, put twice that many on them instead. So they'll put a counter here, it'll go to 6, and then it'll pump. I need this to block that pretty much regardless. I don't think it matters. It could. But because that's going to put 6 here. Actually, does it? Did I actually just die to that? I think it goes to 12, and then the 3 extra counters that's already on it. I think that would cover it, right? But they play Tyvar instead. Oh, but the mana they would need to upgrade it would cause their land to tap. I mean, it doesn't matter. The Corpse of the Lost gets through, right? Like this gets through. Maybe I won't block. Maybe. I mean, I respect it. Let me just go here. Let me get in. Very cool. Dude, thankfully drew some spells because I couldn't have my knight in that way. Okay, so with that said, we will talk about the list just ever so slightly more. I really covered it in the intro, and I think the games kind of showed how this deck performs overall. And the thing to take away, and this is how you know you might be playing a better deck than normal. At least this is one of the tells for me. I'm not a pro player, so don't take this to heart unless you kind of feel maybe the same way, and I'm kind of like validating the way you feel. Maybe this is the way some people feel. When your deck is not performing and kind of synergizing with how you have the mana base to play, right? With 22 lands, you really want to cap out at 4, and then you really want to hit like a pocket of 5 non-land cards is kind of the development that you end up running into. Whether it happens a turn earlier when you're on like 3 lands and maybe we have a land war elf, or you get stuck with 2 lands and then you hit like 2 cards, a land, and then 3 non-land cards, and it tends to kind of fit that realm a bit more than what was happening today. But I think it just goes to show how strong... One, I think it goes to show how strong a card like Ouroboros is over everything else. Like this card, it doesn't really matter what has happened, what's in play, what else it can do. Because when this is growing your board, it just shows how strong it is. It also goes to show how strong Corpse of the Lost is. This card can come in, give things haste. It just puts that pressure on, and it can do it early whenever you have like a Land War Elf in play, because that Land War Elf comes in, plays this on 2, and then even if you're stumbling a bit, maybe not putting much pressure or action on the board after that, the 3/2 that you already hit them, especially on the play, isn't really going to get answered till their turn 3 if they didn't answer the Land War Elf, because Land War Elf, if it gets answered, tends to slow us obviously way down. But following it up with really good disruption like Deep Cavern Bat, while also having an explosive card like Badger Mole Cub, is actually quite wild. And I think today's video, this is one of the decks that can survive the bad hands and still win with the bad hands. And that to me is the mark of a good deck. Like, is it Lessons can survive the bad hands? Because literally, unless all they do for the entire game is draw lands and they're never able to cast anything, then you'll lose. You'll always lose those games. It doesn't really matter what deck you're playing. You could be playing Valakut, the landfall-centric deck, and only draw lands for the rest of the game, and you're still going to end up losing because you didn't play a Dryad to play another land quicker. You didn't play Escape Shift to put them all in play and one-shot your opponent. It's just crazy the difference in how sequencing in this game matters, and that's why any player can at sometimes beat any other player. Not if you're like really bad, but if you're a competent player, you can technically beat anybody ever. But the thing that matters the most is the fact that on your bad hands, if you open with like 3 cards, that they together can be strong enough or solid enough to hold you to get to the better cards or get to more valuable cards that work well with the hand, right? So like Deep Cavern Bat is a great example of this. This card can take an important card from your opponent's game plan just to slow them a turn. Sometimes that's all you need, is you get them down 1 turn, and then you play something like Ouroboros, which now is the demanding answer threat, right? Like this now has to be answered, which puts this back in slot 2. And then maybe you draw the counter spell after, and somehow this is all alive because the card under Deep Cavern Bat is a removal spell. And now say they remove your Deep Cavern Bat because they have enough mana, you don't counter that. They try to remove your Ouroboros and you counter that. And then you play a Badger Mole Cub. Ouroboros picked up like maybe twice, which is like pretty ambitious. Let's say it's taking up the 2nd time this time. So it's going to 4, right? Like it goes from 1 to 4, and then it puts counters on everything. Now Badger Mole Cub is a 4/4. That land is now a 3/3, which is attacking. And not to say like maybe you had a Landwar Elf that's also been growing this whole time, so maybe it's now a 4/4. So Ouroboros swinging for 4, that land swinging for 3, the Landwar Elf swinging for 4, and it's just because this one hindrance from the Deep Cavern Bat, or even like a Flood Pit Drowner that's stalling out your opponent. So I think that's like signs of a good deck, especially in best of 1, where you really need every single hand that you open with to be able to do something strong enough that it either demands an answer from your opponent or is willing or able, well, not willing, because like they're your cards, they better be willing to stop your opponent, you know what I mean? But the deck has to be able to either demand answers that deter answers to going to other things. That's why board wipes are so good, because you don't then have to worry about anything. You just blow up everything, right? But you just have to have strong enough stuff. And I think this deck fits that bill. And I think Landwar Elves into Badger Mole Cub into Ouroboros. I've said this for a while. I think if you have this synergy in your deck, you can almost put any other cards over here and kind of make it work within reason. And this is a situation that a deck within reason is good, right? Like it's off meta. Your opponents might not know how to play around it. You're probably going to surprise them with this. If your opponent doesn't know what you're doing and hasn't seen this card, because I really haven't seen this card played anywhere, this card can absolutely mess up your opponent's day. It can make a random flyer grow that has lifelink, and then you can block with it. Block, take that creature out, so it became a removal spell that also gained you 5 extra life, and your opponent was not ready for that. And it's all good, right? And Deep Cavern Bat is just like statistically a solid card. Blood Pits is a solid card. We know Gene Pollinator with this combination is at least good. I think Corpse of the Lost on its own is just a strong card. Like, if we were to rate these cards, right, I would say that this is Landwar Elf is like a 10 out of 10 card. It's like Monastery Swiftspear for the most part. Just really solid. Maybe not 10 out of 10 because there's better versions of it. So like Delighted Halfling or something like that. But this is at worst a 7 out of 10, right? Badger Mole Cub, 100% a 10 out of 10 when it comes to what it does. Ouroboros, you might say, is like a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 card. So these all together make your deck just start off super high. Deep Cavern Bat is at worst case scenario a 5 out of 10. And it is probably a little bit higher because we are playing Standard where the format's a bit slower. Corpse, I think, if there were more skeletons in Standard, this card would be absolutely bonkers. Because right now, the main thing holding this card back is there's not a good skeleton support cast. You can't build a skeletons list because this card would absolutely be insane with it. And then this is like, at worst, like these two are sitting in the same bill. And then these are your flex cards. And you can just have them when you have this as your supporting cast. So with that, I know it's a very long outro. I said I wasn't going to make it that long, but I think it's important to talk about kind of deck construction and stuff sometimes. But with that said, I hope you all enjoy. Like, it was a sweet list. I'll definitely be playing it again because it's really cool. Maybe we'll see some changes. I think, labeled it 10 out of 10 stamp, which is funny. But with that said, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.